Hey Dunchbags and Liam, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and it is time for a review of this new EP from Krewella. This one is called New World Part 1. Krewella is an EDM duo comprised of the vocalists and sisters Jahan and Yasmin Yousaf, formerly including the dubstep producer Chris Rainman Trindle. The then trio made their way onto the EDM scene in early 2012 with the release of Killin' It on Monstercat. That same summer, Krewella stringed together a number of singles and self-released them as the Play Hard EP, an EP that has housed most of their success even to this day. The absolutely massive Big Room House single Alive was originally housed on that EP, although it, as well as Killin' It, would go on to be re-released on Krewella's major label debut, Get Wet, an album that, although I didn't think was anything absolutely astounding, I liked quite a bit and is personally still my favorite project that they've done. With Rainman being the primary producer behind the Get Wet project, needless to say, I was very disappointed when Rainman had to make his departure from the group in 2014, but I think overall Krewella managed to come back pretty strong with a couple of really solid singles. I especially loved that really hard-hitting drum and bass song, Say Goodbye, which was basically just a giant middle finger to Chris, but I ended up enjoying it quite a bit nonetheless. And then just last year, Krewella gave us what was, in my opinion, a very solid return EP, Ammunition. I loved the heck out of that EP. In fact, I probably think it's their most cohesive project that they've ever done. I love that Krewella was able to balance a much more poppy and radio-friendly sound with their more aggressive and hard-hitting lyrics, although the lyrics of the EP actually were some of the things that really pushed me away from it. I felt like they were still too focused so much on the departure of Rainman and their lyrics, even though it was 2 years after his departure. I thought Say Goodbye said enough, and kind of returning to that was a little bit of a downfall for the EP for me. But Krewella was able to be put in the hands of some great producers for that EP, like Steven, Pegboard Nerds, Discord was on a couple tracks on that one, and overall I thought it made for a very solid project. And maybe the more aggressive nature of that EP led me to be pretty disappointed when Krewella released the song Team in late 2016. I just thought that song was way too poppy, kind of diving into a little bit of that Caribbean sound, that dancehall sound that's been big over the last couple years thanks to, Diplo, Major Lazer, DJ Snake. Regardless, when Krewella announced that they would be releasing an accompanying EP, I was still pretty excited about it, and I was thinking, the worst thing that's going to happen is Krewella's just going to give us a super poppy EDM EP, and there's definitely nothing wrong with doing that. I mean, they did it pretty successfully on that Ammunition EP, which I liked a lot, so I was still looking forward to listening to this thing. And ultimately, this thing is just such a mixed bag, I don't even know where to start. I guess most importantly, the biggest change when it comes to the New World EP is that the production has really taken a back seat, and the sisters' vocals are really leading this thing, and that's playing in some dangerous territory considering the girls are not really known for having amazing vocals. I think they sound great when they're complemented with some really hard-hitting production, and that doesn't really happen on this EP, maybe with the exception to the Discord collaboration Fortune. As expected, this one is the EP's big heavy hitter. As always, Discord's production is absolutely dirty. Anything Discord has done with Krewella in the past has just blown me away, especially Beggars on the Ammunition EP. That one is still one of my favorites that they've done to date. And obviously I was excited to see Discord again on this EP. This isn't my personal favorite that they've done with Krewella, but I don't necessarily think it's bad. I do kind of like the positive lyrics that the girls sing on this song, talking about, how money can't buy happiness, although I think that was kind of ironic because this seems like Krewella's most cash-grabby project to date. Although I did think it was a little bit cringy with Krewella trying to remake that Schoolboy Q, Yak, 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 from Good Kid Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Obviously, in the original song, that was supposed to represent the sound of gunfire in Compton, and on this song, that makes absolutely no sense. Other than that one, I probably wouldn't say there's a lot of festival-oriented EDM found on this EP. Maybe Be There might be another one that you might hear at a rave. It's future bass, and this one is actually my personal favorite on the EP. I kind of just liked how it's this not super complicated, kind of cutesy EDM song about Krewella and how they've gone through life as sisters. It's a really emotional song and probably a high point on the EP. I do like how there's a certain degree of variation between the drops on this song as well, making it one of the more diverse cuts on the EP. Speaking of diverse, the song Love Outta Me has some very harsh cuts between the major and minor key. I originally didn't like this a ton, but as soon as I saw the piano cover that Jonah Wayhaus did of this song, I gained a whole new respect for the song, kind of seeing it beautifully translated onto that medium. You guys definitely have to check that one out if you haven't yet. Another thing that I really liked about this song, as well as Fortune, was kind of the Middle Eastern vibe. I really liked how Krewella really took a hold of that on the Ammunition EP, kind of going back to their roots in that way. And they do it in a few different spots on this EP, which I thought was one of the more refreshing characteristics. That wasn't featured prior to the Ammunition EP, and I'm really glad to see it back on a second project. And remember how I said I didn't really love Team when it first released in December of last year? I actually found a whole new level of enjoyment for this song when listening to it in the context of this EP. I thought it brought a whole new meaning, kind of seeing it surrounded by these songs. In fact, the lyrics on this song are some of my favorite on the EP and personally hit me the hardest as a critic. What are you supposed to say against an artist who loves the music that they make? Krewella doesn't care what I have to say unless I'm on their team. And ironically, that's precisely where I'm going to take the opposite end of this argument. I am really not a fan of the rest of the content on this EP. The songs TH2C and Parachute especially might even replace Enjoy the Ride and Pass the Love Around as my two least favorite Krewella songs that they've ever written. Parachute kind of gives me the same vibe that the lead single from that absolutely terrible Linkin Park album One More Light did, with Krewella just completely abandoning anything and everything that gave their music any edge to begin with. And then of course it's got that incredibly soft, kind of touchy-feely little line at the end of the drop with the "Take a leap of faith, no parachute." And if I think that's bad, then TH2C is absolutely repulsive. Not only is the song led by this super boring and generic kind of tropical beat, but the lyrics on this song are absolutely terrible. And at first I was kind of okay with the lyrics because I thought Krewella was trying to say something negative about the lifestyle of people who just go to EDM raves and get absolutely high out of their minds and don't do much else. But no, they seem to be actually endorsing it on this song, and there's not a single element that's at all redeeming about this song. Avoid this one like the plague. Calm Down is probably the only song in this EP that I'm at least fairly neutral to. I didn't absolutely hate it. I kind of like its really aggressive tones that it has. It kind of reminded me of Better Have My Money by Rihanna. In fact, I draw a lot of parallels between those two songs. But, you know, this song just doesn't have the same kind of firepower to it that songs like Beggars on the Ammunition EP did. In general, I just didn't love this EP. I think for the most part, it's either stepping backwards or stepping in the wrong direction from where Krewella went with the Ammunition EP. And like I said, there are enough decent cuts on this EP. It's not like these songs are not catchy or anything, but even the songs that I think are the best on this EP still end up falling pretty flat. They're kind of generic. Definitely far from Krewella's best work, and I hope New World Part 2 gives us something really different. For Part 1 of the New World EP, I am feeling a strong 4 out of 10 as always. If you guys haven't checked out this EP yet, you might want to do so. I have the Spotify link down in the description. Like I said, some decent songs in this EP, some not so decent songs in this EP. Hopefully you'll find one you like though. And if you have listened to this EP, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Liam, I'm Landon Remixes, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I'll catch you later. Peace.